So look where we are. Get a lovely view as well today. So unfortunately I just noticed that you can't in fact see Schiehallion somewhere behind a cloud. Oh well. So that's the explanation here of Queen's View. It says that Queen Victoria made a visit and apparently she was pleasantly surprised that somebody had named a place after her that she never had visited, but it's likely named after Queen Isabella, the wife of Robert the Bruce. And Schiehallion is that one. It's a bit of a shame that you can't see it, but what can you do? Of course, we are very weather dependent. So our plans for today are obviously to see Queen's View. We've done that, and now we're going to Allean Forest. We've been there before, and it was years and years ago, so I actually wanted to go back there because there's lots of interesting stuff. There's an 18th century Clachan and a Ringfort, which they're both homesteads from different time periods, and it's a really nice walk as well, so I'd love to take you along. We moved over to the other car park and the view is not bad from here either. It's Schiehallion again. Maybe, just maybe, we will be able to see more later on because from the Ringfort you also get a view across like this. Here's a signpost. Welcome to Allean Forest. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the Gaelic one. I've never seen a capercaillie in real life. And this is what we are expecting to see. And let's see, we're gonna go around this way. Gonna follow the red path. It's definitely a nice forest. Very warm and humid though today, about 18 degrees. Can definitely feel the humidity. Okay, so you just almost stumble upon it. It's right up there. So let's go and check it out. So here we are. This is the 18th century Clachan. It's apparently they're 300 years old. And it's a traditional style homestead. You can see grass growing on the roof, and you will find similar things in Norway. That's a way of securing that the roof is not going to come off in a storm, I think. But the roof has been recreated, so it's not original. So let's go inside. It's very dark, obviously. Aha. So the camera allows to see a little more. There's a bit of air coming in. It's all dry stone wall, which means there's no mortar or anything used. Here's a window. I think you can probably climb in and out from that. And the corner. And there's another window. And that's the roof there. It's a little bit, don't know if you could say claustrophobic. Just imagine that people may have lived in this house with their animals and everything. That's how big it is. It's about 10 meters long, I think. Anywhere between 8 and 10 meters in length, and then 4 or 5 meters wide. can't really see any fireplace. But then it might have been originally there and they just didn't make one when they reconstructed the roof. Okay, so there's some kind of chamber here. I wonder if the house would have been a little bit higher, as in whether the ground was raised at some point, because this is a very small chamber. It could have been possibly used for some kind of animal. Just a very small space. Here's the other side of the building, and you've got a lot of extra leftovers, which may be more buildings. So this might have been a homestead serving multiple families. There's a building over there, and there's another building right here. Other than it being from the 18th century, do you know anything about Clachans?
I just know that I think that they tended to keep animals inside with them.
That's what I was guessing as well.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty small space for sure. Let's get a look at the other building here. So this wall is pretty thick. It's about 1 meter in diameter. And here's a view of the roof. And back in through the window. And I also want to add that Clachan, which is what you call this, would have been a typical name for a Gaelic village, mostly in the Highlands. There's the other one there. And I've read on the internet that it's also called a black house because it doesn't have a chimney. And apparently they do, or did, make fires on the inside, so the roof was quite sooty, and that's apparently, allegedly, why it was called that. Get it as a viewpoint, but it's kind of overgrown. That's the thing, sometimes trees grow faster than you think they do, but it's just nice sculpture. And a bee, or wasp. So there's a Gaelic inscription, which I wouldn't be able to tell you what it says, because I feel like I have very random aesthetical preferences, such as this tree, which is a fork shape. I find that looks nice. It appears that the sun is trying to come out. Somewhere over there. Can I just remark on the fact that it is July, so the mushrooms are out. It's been a very wet summer this July. I'm curious if where you live you notice the same thing, or whether your summer has been particularly warm in comparison. This summer has been wet. Last summer was definitely a lot warmer and drier. There's an interesting rock as well. There's a nice bench with a pretty awesome view. You can see some cool mountains. Huh. He knows I'm filming him. Come on. There we go. And a massive quartz. Massive. Or maybe I should use my foot to compare it to. Huge. It's an even better view. I do like how clouds sometimes sit on the top of hills like that. And there's a raven somewhere. So here we are, we have arrived at the Ringfort. There's a nice apple tree growing, and here's a reconstruction of what they think it used to look like. So the wall is I think 3 to 5 meters thick, but 4 meters 13 feet. That's very thick. You can just about see that apparently each of these stones is weighing 1 ton. And here's a bit of a description for you. So apparently there is about 7 of these in the area, just around the river Tummel, which is the one that you see there. Oh, I think you can see Schiehallion. So there you go, it has cleared up just a little bit. So I've got some notes here that I wanted to read to you or tell you about. As I mentioned in the old statistical account of Scotland from 1792, within less half a mile of Portan Allean is Greenwich, the Field of the Sun. Here are the remains of a very extensive druidical work, a large circular wall, either a castle or foundation of a very large cairn, with small cairns innumerable on the barren ground above it, which were probably graves. So some earlier writers believed that this might be a druidical structure. Later on they sort of changed their minds. They did excavations in the 1970s, and now they think it's just a homestead, basically. So again, this shows you how people live. So the wall probably would have been maybe of a defensive structure. So it says here 500 BC to 300 AD. Some other people say 200 BC to 1000 AD. It might have been lived in as late as that.
I think it was a temple.
You think it was a temple?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think it was to live in?
I think that there probably was a building, like a wooden roundhouse style building inside the wall, but I don't see why. I mean, we don't really have that many examples of roundhouses with these stone walls. You do have stone built roundhouses.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be that, but I don't know. It's the fact that it's called, what is it, the Plane of the Sun or something like that.
Well, that's I guess what they called it. Maybe when they thought it was like a druid's place.
Right. Are you sure that wasn't what it was called? Like that wasn't just the name of the area?
I don't know.
Okay.
So there's a hearth and a post hole, and during the excavations, some of the things that they found: a stone cup, a yellow translucent bead, a stone lamp, and 2 rotary querns for grinding flour.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the fact that they have rotary querns for grinding
Sure.
does suggest that it's more of a homestead. Either that or that druids were actually living here.
Yeah, there could have been. Could have been like a if you think about it, like an early druidic style monastery or something like that. Maybe like all of the ones along here had the same function.
Possibly.
So not just like a normal homestead, but monastery.
My notes note that the entrance is on the western side, and apparently all or most of the 7 ring forts around the area have an entrance on the west. And if it's not some kind of a symbolical meaning, it might have to do with the wind. So a western wind providing some nice draft to carry out, basically, when you've got the hearth in the middle.
The west is where the dead come from.
Okay. So you want the door open to the dead, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Okay, so let's go and look at it then. Let's take you around the building. That's a beautiful view down there. Maybe we should stop again at Queen's View just to have another look.
I knew you'd want to do that.
Ha. Okay, let's go in through the entrance. Okay, so here's the entrance. And what did you just say about the entrance in the west?
The reason that the west is associated with the dead is because it's where the sun sets.
Okay.
That's why. So it's considered to be, dipping down into the underworld.
So we are right in the middle here. That's the entrance there. There's really not that much left of the wall. There's a few stones and bits and bobs, and here's some kind of marker. So that's another entrance, it seems. Or is this the original entrance?
This would have been the original entrance because that's the west.
Alright, so we came in through the east. So that's interesting. So there's an eastern opening, which may have been a window originally, I don't know. So there's an east and a west, and this is the entrance from the east.
West.
The west. This is the entrance from the west. There's me on top of the wall. It's definitely wide. So I could imagine that being about 4 meters, yeah. It would be a massive type of teepee if you just imagine like rising up into the sky. I wonder what they would have used, just like put lots of leather hides together to make the roof. Or would they have used something else?
Most roundhouses were made out of straw thatch.
Straw thatch.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it's possible to have such a large
Yeah.
structure? Yeah.
Yeah, they have hill forts this similar size have been found up in Murray.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sorry, not hill forts, they're roundhouses.
I guess one of the reasons why I would consider it possible that it's like a druidic structure, because we have got that temple up on Shetland.
Yeah.
That was also around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it also said in the notes that this is actually an oval structure rather than a circular one. And then you get this great view as you descend. Here it is, Schiehallion. We will definitely also go up Schiehallion on some point this year. It only gets nicer and nicer. I feel like to go up Schiehallion, the weather has to be right. There has to be a clear view. There can't be any rain, otherwise it's pretty uncomfortable. So I'm gonna wait for the perfect opportunity. Need to follow. Can you see the dragonfly? It's massive. It's like a helicopter. Whoa.
It's playing with us.
It's flown away. There's a buzzard circling above. So of course we did return to get another pop, because the view is a lot better now. Thank you for watching.